It is pretty amazing. My next guest is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's been in the NFL for 10 years. He's been a Pro Bowler for half of them. Never missed a game. He's like Tony Gonzalez on the defensive side. He just doesn't miss games, and he's a real team leader. There's a lot of good defensive players in the NFL. There's not dozens of great defensive leaders. And Cameron Jordan, the Saints defensive end, is absolutely one of those. They have a bye week this week, which is actually for players. It's a little bit of a break. You don't get many of those, and Cam Jordan is now joining us. So, it is interesting that there are great defensive players. But when we think NFL, Cam, quarterback's the leader, the coach is the leader. But when I think of you, I'm like, no, you're a vocal guy, you're a verbal guy. Is a defensive leader, do you ever feel like you're the Drew Brees on the defensive side and that your words matter, they're impactful, and you're a mentor to a lot of players?
I look at myself definitely not in the category of Drew Brees in any sort of fashion, just because, that focal point of quarterback, he handles all checks, he handles energy, he handles everything. Everything that Drew does sets him apart. I think that, if anything, I just make sure to bring the energy. I've got guys like Demario Davis, who, of course, is an all-pro right behind me and play the way he does. And, I let him be the quarterback of the situation. I just want to bring juice every play and every time I touch the field. It's that love of the game that, I hope to never lose love for.
Well, it's interesting because you say you want to bring juice. For the first time in your life, you're playing with no fans. How do you create the juice when you're playing in an empty stadium?
I'll say now we got the manufactured sound, right? We've got the 70 decibels of low music. At that point, it's us. It's really, we really take it back to if we had to play at midnight in the middle of the park, in the back alley, we play football against anybody. And it's that same mentality that we take everywhere we go with this now. It's sort of chilling to be in the Superdome and not have the fans behind you, not have, 70,000 people cheering, who that going to beat them Saints. And at the same time, we still have a job and a mission to complete. So we got to take that in our mindset and create our own energy. And we can't have juice. We got to have more.
It's interesting. So I've never been a fan of NFL preseason. I don't want my star players just go to Bahamas, go on vacation, show up Labor Day. But I was watching the game the other day with my wife, and my wife's like, man, there's a lot of guys hurt this year. And for the first time in my life, I was like, maybe they need preseason. Maybe they need to bang into each other for about, 4 quarters. So now that you've played your career with 9 preseasons and 1 without, Cam, do you think there is value in the preseason? Should we shorten it? How do you view it now?
I don't know. I haven't played much preseason, honestly, since ever. I think the most I think I've played is 2, maybe 3 preseason games. I normally play like 1.5. But I definitely think, the COVID impact of it all has changed how guys were able to work out and get after it. We talk about, COVID really hit America somewhere in March, and guys start training, March, April, May, June. You hit training camp, and it was like you were taken out of most people's comparative norm situation on how to work out, how to keep in shape, how to go about being football ready. I think it's sort of shown just in terms of how guys may not have had the same access to treatments, rehabs, and abilities to be on their normal schedule, how to prepare for a season.
You are in a division now with some veterans, Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. You faced a lot of veteran quarterbacks. Generally, for a guy like you, you're licking your chops if you get a rookie quarterback. But Justin Herbert, Cam, there's something to it, man. He's got a whip. Kind of your impressions on what you saw from a kid who, in his 3rd or 4th NFL start on Monday.
He's talented. I like to say, we hit him, 17, 18, 19 times?
Yeah.
And he was still out there rolling, taking hits, and slinging the rock. He's looking special. I think he could develop into a special quarterback in years to come. I sort of, talked to him after the game. I was like, you might be the slowest, quarterback out of Oregon. That's not saying much because you're still running like a 4.65,
Yeah, no, he is. I'm watching some of the tape here. He's got an arm on him, that's for sure. When when you look, a lot of people have said it's kind of Drew Brees. Many people believe it's Drew Brees' last year. I mean, he's going to have broadcasting options as you are if you want him. He's going to be able to do that. Does it feel like to you with Drew? Does it feel like kind of a special year this year, knowing one of the great quarterbacks, top 10 quarterbacks of all time? This may be it. You may be playing in his last year.
Top one. Yeah, I'd say he's one of the top one quarterbacks. If I had to go my mindset of great quarterbacks, it would be Drew Brees and Drew Brees. That being said, I don't know if it's last year. When you talk about his completion rate, you talk about everything that he does. His quarterback passing rate is probably over 100. Completion rate right now is probably sitting at 70% plus. Everything that Drew does is elite. So when he decides to hang him up, he's going to go right into Canton. But in terms of, is this year special because it may be his last? I have no idea. I've never had to worry about playing without Drew Brees, so I won't start worrying about it now.
Yeah. So you average, you get a 10 to 15 sacks every year. And, and you're one of the guys in the NFL that's a reliable sacker, a one a game. And when you get into this, we are now in a more offensive league. The teams pass more than ever. I would imagine.
Unless they play the Saints.
Well, I would think, this can create more sacks for you. The current NFL is more spread out. It's faster. It's no huddle. It's more passing. As a defensive player, do you think it now plays into your skill set and into your strengths?
As far as what we catch, what we see now, we had the Tom Brady, we had Aaron Rodgers. It's the fast, quick release off the first read, if not check down, type offenses. This is something that we're dealing with, that guys aren't hitting those 8-9 yard drops of old. Now it's like a 5 yard drop where they start in the shotgun, and then it's a 2-step and release. It's hard pressed to sort of take away a quarterback's first read now. And you got receivers that are overly athletic and can go win these 50-50 balls. At this point, it's sort of becoming a hassle when you know that you could get to the quarterback, but they have such a fast release, it sometimes does not affect them at all. So you play. And now you can hide them behind play actions and boots, etc.
Yeah. So you play behind. You play Teddy Bridgewater in about 10 days, 2 weeks, and then you play Brady after that. Have you ever faced Brady before? Week one.
Bridge?
That's right.
Yeah, I'll say
that you faced the old man week one. So
we've already started our one. We started off 1-0.
So let me ask you. You faced Tom Brady. Give me your thoughts on, did you sense age? How was Brady different than facing a Justin Herbert, facing a Teddy Bridgewater, facing guys you faced? What was it like? Because most believe Brady's the best of all time. Does he manipulate the line of scrimmage? I mean, what is it like to face Brady as the leading sacker on a football team?
I'll say our lead sacker is Trey Hendrickson. He's got like 4.5 sacks in 5 games right now. He's been rolling, coming off this edge hot. I try to tell him, take advantage of all opportunities. If I'm catching a double and you're catching a single, win your singles, and he's winning them at a high rate. Shout out to Trey Hendrickson. But when you talk about Tom Brady and what he's able to do, I mean, there's absolutely no noise. They came into the Superdome with 0 fans. On a normal season, we expect 70,000. That changes everything up right there. But his ability to audible at the line, his ability to control his offense, and also have the weapons of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and at the time Leonard Fournette, and I mean they're sort of stacked back there. I'll say with McCoy, all the weapons that he had, and then Gronkowski, of course, Conch Shell Gronk comes out of it, and he has all these available options, and I think he used them well. So the second time around, without saying too much, I'm sort of excited to play him again.
Yeah. By the way, you've got a new podcast with Mark Ingram called Trust Levels. Trust Levels, that is the new podcast with Mark Ingram, your former teammate, by the way.
Yeah, that's my brother. For former teammate, we got drafted together in 2011. I was sleeping on his couch the first couple weeks in New Orleans till I found a place of my own, because he was already training there in the off season. Him coming from Bama, he had trained in New Orleans off season, then get drafted by New Orleans. I come to New Orleans and it's a lockout year, so I'm like, we really don't have too much contact with the Saints. It was an instant bond there. That's been my dog and turned into a real life brother for me. So it just made most sense. It was like, we're going to get on this podcast. I was like, who better to do it than with my guy who not only brings the juice on offense, who is a amazing, running back, Pro Bowl caliber running back, and also backs up everything that he says and what he does on the field. And he's he's an even better dad and person off the field. So it was just a no-brainer. We started at the trust levels, big trust levels, and we've released 4 episodes, and we're gonna keep on pushing. I mean, there's a lot of talent and a lot of fun being had from our first guest from AK to this week's guest being Bobby Wagner. It's like we're just chilling with all our friends. It's like what we're doing here, Colin.
Well, we were talking during the break that you're lucky. I mean, you're obviously talented, but the Saints are well run. And I've had guys like T.J. Hushmanzada come on my show, and his career, it was Cincinnati. They were sharing cups, and not the kind you drink out of. So, have you ever thought to yourself, do you like when you were going through COVID? Do you ever sometimes kind of knock on wood and think to yourself, man, I landed in a good spot?
100%. If anybody ever talks to my agent, he'll tell you, like, all I prayed for was somewhere warm. And I ended up in New Orleans, and it's been amazing. I got to learn from the likes of Jonathan Vilma, Roman Harper, Will Smith, rest in peace. When he first came, when I first came into the league, I had Sean Rogers, Abreu Franklin. I had all these vets, Cedric Ellis, that sort of took me under their wing and was like, this is how you become a pro. And I don't know about any other franchise. I've never had to worry about it.
Right.
I know when I talk to other guys around the league, it's like, yo, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I'm like, yo, that's not what the Saints do. This is how we do things. And they're like, man, this sounds like, they show love. You got probably 2 handfuls worth of teams that are run really well from top to bottom. And I'm happy to be a part of that. So I don't have to look outside and be like, oh, I wonder what they're doing over there. I'm just happy being on the green grass over here.
Now, the Benson family's always treated their players and coaches incredibly well. It's Cameron Jordan. He's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Good luck to you in your bye week. Enjoy it. I know not everything in America is open, but there's a few restaurants open. Have some fun, and thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. I wish I could hit a restaurant. I'm going to stay safe and try and complete this season. Hopefully COVID free.
Yeah, you don't want to let teammates down. There's that peer pressure now if you're a player. You don't want to let anybody down, right? Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.